What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? It's your boy Cris with my guy Clarence. Coming off this bye week, week 9, Titans versus Chiefs. We got a lot to talk about. Got a special guest on to talk with us about the game. Let's talk Chiefs.
Yeah, Arrowhead Chiefs. It's your girl, Miss Nicole. Queen of Hustle, baby. Started from the bottom, now we here. My homie at the start of his career. Let's go. Try to warn him early, hear the truth. Tune in every Sunday for the juice. Arrowhead Chiefs podcast, bringing all the news. If you missed the play, come back for reviews. Cris out here rapping for the crew. Post game highlights, go subscribe on YouTube. If you missed the play, come back for reviews. Post game highlights, go subscribe on YouTube.
What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? It's your boy Cris. We back. Arrowhead Chief Podcast, Week 9, Titans versus Chiefs. We got a lot to talk about, man. We're going to get into this game. We're going to talk about the trade deadline, too. But before we get into that, what's up, Clarence?
Uh-oh. My bad. I can't call it, dog. Yeah, I can hear you now. I can't call it, bro. You know what I'm saying? It was a good weekend of some ball. You know what I'm saying? It's bye week over. You know, we got that Sunday night with that Kane coming in. So let's get into it, dog.
All right, for sure. Before we introduce our guest, we always got to give a shout out. Every Morning Quarterback. If you look down at the bottom, look at the website, emqpodcast.com/locker-room. If you go there, you can look up, you'll see a bunch of podcasts there. It's a Jaguars podcast, a Titans podcast, a Jaguars podcast, 49ers podcast, and you also find our podcast, Arrowhead Chief Podcast. Shout out to Every Morning Quarterback. If you also go to them, they have a podcast themselves where they talk about everything league-wide. They talk about betting tips for the week. So go ahead and give them a follow. Check them out. All right, let's talk about it, man. We got a special guest on today. We got Ryan from the JumpPass podcast. What's going on, Ryan?
Hey, what's going on, man? I appreciate you inviting me to y'all platform. Really happy, really excited. Been noticing what y'all been doing, man. I like what y'all been doing, so keep the good work.
Yeah, man, no problem, man. We always try to bring on different pod on here. You know, whatever team we playing, we try to bring them on, talk about the game, you know what I'm saying? Just so, break this thing down for the people, you know what I'm saying? So before we get into the game, tell us how long you been pod, man. How long you been doing your thing?
Man, it's been about 2 years now. I started off with a small network. They showed me the ropes, I guess you can say. And, I started doing an NFL podcast where we just talked about, all the NFL news, going over different games and things of that nature. Then, after that, I kind of wanted to kind of do my own thing. I felt like, I'm a smart guy. I know Tennessee Titans football. So I was just like, you know what? Let me do my own thing. Let me branch away from the network, from that network, and then come in and just do my own thing. And then basically, the JumpPass has always been on the back of my pocket. It was just something that, I had to put it all together. Once I put it all together, I was like, okay, I'm ready, because there was some other things that I had to figure out, how to schedule my podcast, how to edit and do all that other stuff. So, once I got all that stuff down pat, I was like, let me go ahead and do my own thing and see what goes from there. And, from there, it's been the JumpPass ever since October 2021.
That's what's up, man.
That's what's up.
Always good to see brothers out here doing the podcast thing in the sports world, because it's not too many of us out here doing it ourselves. It's mostly not to say anything about our white counterparts. Shout out to them for doing their thing too. But I love to see the brothers out here doing it too. Trying to do it on their own. So definitely.
And when I first jumped on Twitter, you know what I'm saying? Like, Ryan was the first podcast that I was checking out. You know what I'm saying? Because he is a brother. You dig what I'm saying? So like, yeah, I had to mess with, and he from Memphis, so that, You
For sure. Appreciate it.
That goes without question.
Right.
That goes without question.
Yeah, man. Appreciate it.
No, I'm already knowing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, before we talk about this game, man, today was the trade deadline, man. There was a lot of moves, probably the most moves probably made in NFL history. It was like 10 moves made, man. Some of the bigger
They said
moves.
20.
Was it 20?
They said it was closer to 20. Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Closer to 20 moves.
I'm going to read off some of the bigger names that were traded. Bradley Chubb, he went to the Dolphins. Calvin Ridley, who was suspended for the whole year, he got traded from the Falcons to the Jaguars. So that's more of a future pick, fixture move for next year. Chase Claypool, he goes to the Bears. So now they're trying to invest in Justin Fields, get him some more weapons over there. Kadarius Toney.
About time.
Earlier pick, we got Kadarius Toney to go to the Chiefs. Roquan Smith, he goes to the Ravens, which I think is a good move for them. So, what are your guys' thoughts of the trade deadline? What were some of the significant moves that y'all saw?
Go ahead, Ryan.
And the one move that really stuck out to me, man, was really Bradley Chubb going to the Dolphins. The Dolphins have, they letting you know right now they're going for it. Now, of course, they still, it's still the Tua question. That's the biggest question. Right. But everything around Tua is setting up for him. Defense was already pretty good. Now you got a elite pass rusher when he's healthy. That's been the biggest issue with Chubb. And now with that offense, as long as Tua is healthy and being able to prove the naysayers wrong, the Dolphins are a real threat in the AFC. They are the dark horse contender to be a Super Bowl, to at least get to the Super Bowl. So with Bradley Chubb, it's a good move. And looking at it now, those picks that they had, about a year or two ago, they didn't turn into Tyreek Hill, Bradley Chubb, and Jalen Waddle. So that's basically, they basically have done a tremendous job of just, using those picks and, using them as collateral to get, proven players in the National Football League. So I think that's the one move that really sticks out to me. It's just, the rich getting richer. AFC is, is already a tough conference. And it gets even tougher when you get the Dolphins competing with the likes of, Kansas City and Buffalo.
I agree. Go ahead, Clarence.
I agree with that. Another move that they made was picking up Jeff Wilson, running back from the 49ers. Yeah. Which I like that move for them, because if they can get more balance, that's only going to improve what they're doing with Tyreek and Waddle. You know what I'm saying? You see Reek's numbers now. Imagine what it's going to be if they let Jeff Wilson run that thing the way that he can. And the other biggest move that I liked was the Bears going out and committing to Claypool to show that Justin Fields is the guy for them. You know what I'm saying? To make that move, to make a commitment for him, like that was huge. Get him a true number one, or at least a potential number one.
Yeah, with Claypool and Mooney, that's a good little duo right there. So they could build upon that, and it's all on Justin Fields now. He ain't got no excuses with Claypool, with Mooney, with Montgomery in the backfield. Maybe they add something else in the draft and in free agency in the offseason, but definitely their offense is shaping up for him to flourish next year. Now they just got to replenish the tools in the defensive side because they let go of some big pieces with Quinn and Smith. So we'll see what they do. See what the Bears can do. This is Ryan Pohl's first season as the GM, and of course you want to see him succeed because he's a black GM. Yeah. So you definitely want to see that brother succeed because not too many of them out there. So.
It's like Lou Riddick said, like 2023 is going to be a big offseason. It'll probably be one of the biggest off seasons in the league next year. You know what I'm saying? And this movement and everything like that that's going on right now, like he said, like look for 23's off season to be explosive.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I definitely think there's going to be a lot of moves be made, on every team. And as far as the Dolphins go, I agree with y'all. Bradley Chubb, the Dolphins, they boosted up their defense with Bradley Chubbs. They got the running back, Jeff Wilson. That's something that now they already got a win over Buffalo. Now they possibly can go in Buffalo with a pass rusher and a good running game because you're gonna need that later on in Buffalo when it starts snowing and getting cold. So, and definitely in the playoffs, the Dolphins are saying we can't just go in there with speed. We got to run the football in January. So
Yeah.
they make it to the playoffs this year. They're definitely gonna need that. So that was a good
Yes,
pick. They
sir.
probably out of all the teams, they probably won the trade deadline type, all the moves and stuff. They
Yeah,
without
I
a
agree with
doubt.
that. Yeah.
and then Buffalo getting Naheem Hines. I'm not mad at that move. He's a good receiving back out of the backfield. He'll add to that. Coming out of the backfield. If Josh Allen needs to dump it off, check it off. Naheem Hines is good for that. So that was a good pickup too.
Mm-hmm.
And we also traded away Fenton, which I'm not mad at letting go of Fenton. Fenton can get a bone out of here because all he does is hold.
And not get his head around. Mister, I
Yeah,
can't turn my damn head to save my life. I get a pass interference flag.
And I like what I'm seeing with these rookies, man. These rookies are definitely, showing improving, getting better but game by game. And we're getting Trip McDuffie back, so that's a good thing too.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, Ryan, man. Let's talk about the AFC South, man. It's kind of a weak division. I ain't gonna lie to you. Jacksonville, they looked like in the beginning they was doing something, then they kind of, came back down to reality. The Texans, same thing. Colts has been, up and down kind of. And you guys are starting to extend a little bit more. You guys have taken charge of this division and become the number one on top. What is your thoughts on the AFC South this year?
I mean, you pretty much touched on it. It's pretty much a weak division. The Titans are taking advantage of a weak division. They're the most stable team in that division. The Jaguars, I mean, I think they made some strides, but they're a young team. Usually with young teams, they don't know how to finish because they've been pretty much in every game, or they've been leading in the fourth quarter, and they just hadn't been getting the job done and win those ball games. The Texans kind of the same way. Texans are pretty feisty. They kind of remind me of Detroit in regards to they're a bad team, but they're gonna give you their best shot. They're not gonna get blowed out or anything like that. And then the Colts kind of just, I don't know, they were waving the white flag of this season or not, but Matt Ryan. Anybody that thought that Matt Ryan was going to work out, they fooling themselves. I told you at the beginning of the season that Matt Ryan, that's not the same Matt Ryan from 2016 when he won the NFL MVP. That's a whole new guy with a bad offensive line. So the Titans really just taking advantage of a weak schedule, and that's what you're supposed to do. You beat the teams that you're supposed to beat, and you put yourself in a position to at least win the division, or at least put yourself in a position to try to get home field advantage.
Okay. I hear you. So going into this season, Ryan Tannehill, last year you guys were one of the top teams last year. And unfortunately, you guys ended on a bad note in the playoffs against the Bengals. Ryan Tannehill, he threw a couple picks that weren't good, you guys were right there. You know what I'm saying? If Ryan Tannehill doesn't throw any one of those picks, if he threw one and then didn't throw the last one, you guys probably win that game. You know what I'm saying? You got to probably beat the Bengals. What is your guys' expectation going into this season with Ryan Tannehill?
Well, me personally, I didn't have any expectations because I expected Ryan Tannehill to be the same guy. To me, Ryan Tannehill is who I thought he was, which is a game managing quarterback. He's not going to lose you a ball game, even though he did in that playoff game. But at the same time, he's not going to win you a ball game either. And you got to have the pieces around him in order for him to succeed. You got to have a great running game, which we have, and you got to have a receiver, which before this season started, we didn't. We did. Now we're kind of lacking in that department. So my expectations was to basically, win 10, 11 games, win the South, and probably get beat by a team that's, talent-wise better than us. So that's kind of what my expectations was.
Yeah, Ryan Tannehill has always remind me of Alex Smith type.
Yeah,
If you put the right pieces around him, get him a good offensive line, get him some weapons, he can flourish. You get him a good running game, he can flourish. But if things break down, he can't go beyond the X's and O's.
right.
Like a Patrick Mahomes, like a Josh Allen, like a Lamar Jackson. Even. Those guys can go when things break down. Hey, they turn on their special powers and they can go out there and go beyond the X's and O's. Which leads me to your other quarterback that you guys drafted later in the draft, Malik Willis. Now, Malik Willis was one of the more high profile, quarterbacks coming out last year. So what is your thoughts on Malik Willis?
He's a project. He was a guy that he has a lot of talent, but he needs some season. He needs to kind of sit down and observe, learn the playbook, learn how to be a pro, things of that nature. I just feel like to me, it's kind of a situation that you guys went through with Alex Smith and then drafting Patrick Mahomes, and also too what the Ravens went through with having Joe Flacco and then drafting Lamar Jackson, having just sitting there. Kind of learn the playbook, learn the play style, learn how to be a quarterback because being a quarterback in college is way different than being a quarterback in the pros. So you gotta you want to put your young quarterback in position to succeed. And I felt like at that time the Titans did the right thing of just drafting him and just sitting him, and till it get to a point where Tannehill gets hurt, which he did, unfortunately, or Tannehill plays so terrible that the Titans have to make a decision and switch quarterback just to, trying to get some, a boost from of offense or something like that. But to me, I think Malik Willis is going to be fine. I just think that once he gets up to speed on how to be a pro, how to set his feet when he throws the football and don't get nervous, understand his reads and things of that nature, he's going to be fine. He's going to be a solid quarterback for years to come.
Okay.
Yeah, one of the things that I question about even going into the season, like you and I went back and forth a couple of times on Twitter with the conversation. My thing was you can't when you lose a Corey Davis and then you turn around and you don't replace that. You attempt to by getting Julio last year. And we all know the up and down of Julio. And then you put it on AJ to be that number one, and he shows up week in and week out. Given the fact that Tannehill has that up and down, and then you transition into this year with a Robert Woods who can't stay in and line up consistently, and the young kid Burks, and the only consistency there has been 15 Akina.
Right.
Westbrook Akina, and then Jonnu leaves, and you get Austin Hooper to think that he's going to provide you that seam work and the rookie 85. Like the expectation of Tannehill at some point, I thought like last week, when Willis got in the game, I thought that would be an opportunity to give him those reps throwing the football to see what he could be, rather than hold him to 11 passes in the game. And I've heard, from I got a lot of other partners that are Titans fans, and they're not happy with Todd Downing. So is it more Todd Downing's play calling that's uninspired and keeps Tannehill in these compromising situations? Does it go both? Is it both of them? I'll leave with that question, and then I'll pivot off of that one.
Yeah, I would say it's a little bit of both. I mean, if you look at Todd Downing, it's definitely his play calling, but I think the bigger issue though with the Titans is it's an offensive philosophy issue. When you look at the offensive philosophy, it's about getting Derrick Henry the ball. It was like that with Arthur Smith, and it's like that now with Todd Downing. So that is more of an offensive philosophy kind of a thing. And to kind of piggyback to that game on Sunday, it was just more of they were trying to get him involved a little bit. You can kind of tell that Malik was a little bit nervous throwing the football, stepping up in the pocket, things of that nature. So they went and just said, okay, we're just gonna run the football. And the Texans defense was so bad, they such a bad run stopping defense. It gets to a point where if you're not gonna stop the run, then there's no need to pass the football. So it kind of got to a point where, the game plan just basically was just strictly 100% run the football. Now,
Right.
I will say this with Malik Willis, this was the perfect game for him to go in because you're going against a bad team. Yeah, the expectation it's not too high. You just want to see what how his maturation has been since he's been drafted. And like I said, it's some things that he can definitely work on, and that's definitely some good film for him in the future when he starts to look at himself, in the upcoming offseason and say, okay, I should have made that read right there. Okay, I should have left the pocket during that situation, or I should have stayed in the pocket and made this throw. So it was good. It was good experience for him. But definitely, though, Todd Downer is not a very good play caller. But I think it's more along the lines of the offense philosophy and just the lack of big plays coming from that offense.
Do you think that there was a big fall off between Arthur Blank and Downey?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that Arthur Smith he knew quarterbacks. Like he knew what Tannehill could and couldn't do, and just like what he's doing with Atlanta, he know exactly what Marcus Mariota can do as a quarterback. And you can see now they striving. They 4-4. They basically they overachieving right now. So Arthur Smith play calling, I really like his play calling because he knew what he had in his offense. Todd Downer at times he can call some good plays, but I feel like the biggest issue with Todd Downer is the situation of play calling. 3rd and 1, you shouldn't run a jet sweep with your backup tight end. 3rd and 3, you shouldn't run another jet sweep with your backup quarterback. Line up a wide receiver. It's just those things. Just getting too cute at the wrong time. That's really the biggest issue for me with Todd Downer.
We can relate to that. Andy Reid. Sometimes
I peeped that. Yeah,
he'll get cute at the wrong time with us too. So
I peeped that jet motion thing with Malik. That just, I didn't understand that. Why call that play? What was the concept? What was Malik supposed to do when he got that and he ended up fumbling it? But still, like, where are you trying to go with this? You motioning in your backup quarterback, like what? Never mind. I didn't get it. Never mind. It was a bad play, dog.
Yeah, you putting your backup QB in a very uncompromising position. I mean, that's not something that he's accustomed to doing. He's accustomed of getting the snap, not on a jet sweep. So it's kind of one of those. Yeah, it was definitely a weird play call, especially when you got number 22 in the backfield. If you can't get a yard with Derrick Henry, shake the defense hand and move on.
Absolutely.
Now, last year, Derrick Henry ended up getting hurt. He had a foot injury. He comes back in the playoffs, but I believe they rushed him back too soon. I thought that you guys were doing good with Deontay Foreman. I thought Foreman was running real good, and I feel like that you guys should have stuck with that in the playoffs. And I just think that when Derrick Henry came back, it was just like Vrabel felt like it was an obligation to we got to put Derrick Henry when you have Foreman running good. Now, this year coming in, it was always questions because, when running backs get foot injuries, the always question is, can they come back and form? Are they going to lose a step? Is it going to be the same? We saw that with a Gurley. Gurley was never the same when he got his leg injury. He was one of the top backs in the league, and now he's a shell of himself. And he's only like 27, 28. So them leg injuries for those running backs are crucial. So do you feel like Derrick Henry is getting back into form?
Yeah, I think I still think he's an elite running back. He's not the same running back from last year prior to the injury. There was a running play against the Texans where he had a 41-yard game, but pre-injury Derrick Henry would have housed it. What I'm saying?
It would have been a house call.
Yeah, that would have been a house call. So you could tell that, the injury still kind of sort of affected him. But Henry's always been a slow starter. I mean, other than last year, he's always been a slow starter. He kind of just, that's just who he is. First 2 or 3 games, you're not going to get the big 150 or 175 yard kind of games. You're gonna get the 50 to 60, maybe 80 at the most. But then as the season goes along and he gets into to a rhythm, then you'll start to see the Derrick Henry that people are accustomed to seeing. But yeah, I think the injury does have something to do with age. Also has something to do with because Henry, he's 28, could be 20. He's gonna be 29 in 2 months. So that magic age of 30 for running backs is approaching. So once they hit 30, that's when things start to kind of dwindle. So so yes, I can see a little bit of it, but he's still the top back. He's still one of the top backs in the league, if not the top back in the National Football League.
Yeah, I gotta. No, go ahead, Clarence.
I gotta give him his flowers. Dog. Like for when you go back, look at Eddie George. Eddie George had a foot injury, and he came back. He wasn't the same guy. And to see Derrick come back and get the amount of carries that he's getting and be able to produce the yards that listen. Derrick is that dude. I've always loved Derrick as a running back. And this is just proving how special he is. Like running backs that get those type of carries don't come back like this. They just don't. Right. And you go back to last year, what was he like? He had a lead of like 100 or 200 yards before when he got the injury. You know what I'm saying? You just got to give him his flowers, man. Straight up.
Yeah, most definitely. He's probably one of we'll never see another Derrick Henry. He's one of one. That size, that's he has speed to him. Power. Just you'll never see another Derrick Henry. Brandon Jacobs was the first of that time, but he wasn't Derrick Henry. He was nothing like Derrick Henry.
Tiptoe burglar.
Tiptoe burglar, yeah.
You call him tiptoe burglar, dog. Yeah. Brandon Jacobs used to be tiptoe burglar, dog. He'd tiptoe through that hole. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but he wasn't Derrick Henry because Derrick Henry was doing this in Alabama. You know what I'm saying? So he's always been like this. So for him to translate to the league and take the league by storm, and then even this year, you see him slowly getting back to that form. Last week, I know that stat against the Texans, he always runs all over them, 200 yards over them. But still, you need games like that for your running back to get that confidence back. Right. Now he's going to come into Arrowhead, and he's going to feel like he can run all over us, So you need your best players to feel that again, to feel that confidence, So definitely, Derrick Henry is one of the best.
And one of the biggest things that I guess my eyebrows was raised about a little bit was Taylor getting hurt. You know what I'm saying? Especially going into the year, you lose Roger Saffold at that left guard position. You got the uncertainty of the rookie. Was he at right guard? Had that rookie at right guard for a little bit.
Yeah, right tackle. Yeah, right tackle.
Yeah, so it was always like, well, if Derrick is healthy, is he still going to be able to get some yards with this offensive line? Especially after that Buffalo game, it was like, this is a little dark. You know what I'm saying? I just didn't know if that offensive line was going to gel and come to get to a point where Derrick could be Derrick and impact the offense for y'all. You know what I'm saying? So hats off to him, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right. So this year, you guys had a little turnover this year on your roster. No more AJ Brown, Julio's gone. You bring in Robert Woods, you bring in Treylon Burks. Who is a player that you guys or that you feel is the biggest surprise on this team that's showing improvement?
That's a good question. I probably would say I got a couple of players. We kind of mentioned Nicholas Petitfier. I think he's done a good job right tackle. That's been an emphasis for the Titans for the last 3 years after they got rid of Jack Conklin. You know what I'm saying? So for him to come out there as a rookie and do his thing is a big surprise. That's a big need. You got to have that O line, solidified in order to have a great offense. or at least have a chance of a great offense. So I would say Nicholas Petit-Fier is one. And I say Dontrell Hilliard. Getting rid of Dante Foreman, that was kind of tough. Dante Foreman going to Carolina because he was a great, really really good backup running back, and he filled in for Derrick Henry really good. He had a good playoff game too against the Bengals, to the point where I made that point where Foreman should have got more carries than Henry. That was the case. He was averaging about almost 10 yards a carry against Cincinnati, and for him to go into Carolina, and now he's thriving. With no CMC, he the man now. So he's showing that he can carry the load. But with Dontrell Hilliard, just a pleasant surprise, the ability to run the football. He can catch out of the backfield. He actually leads our team in touchdown receptions. So the fact that he's stepped up, being this unknown guy from last year, did his thing when Henry was out for the regular season. Now to take on a much bigger role, and he's thriving in that bigger role, is also a pleasant surprise.
Okay. All right. So now on the flip side of that, who is a player that you was like you had some expectations on this player, but they're kind of disappointing you this year?
I would say Austin Hooper, and it's not. In my opinion, it's not Austin Hooper's fault. It's just the fact that the offensive scheme, is not giving him enough targets. I felt like when Austin Hooper signed with us, I felt like that was a big move for the Titans, because at tight end last year, it was nothing. It was a whole bunch of nothing. We had guys there, like, unless you were a Titans fan, you won't know who those Titans is. You wouldn't know who Anthony Felton was or Michael Pruitt. Nobody knows those guys.
Jeff Swain.
Jeff Swain's still there. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? And so I would just, when Austin Hooper came along, I was like, okay, cool. We got a tight end that's that's capable. He's been a Pro Bowler before. So I was just like, all right, cool. But he's not getting enough targets. One game he'll get 3 targets. Another game he'll get 0 targets. Another game he'll get 1 target. So a lot of Titans fans are not understanding. They're thinking that Austin Hooper sucks, but you got to look at the stats. You got to look at the targets too. Is he, also too, is he getting open? And I've been looking at film. I looked at some previous film. It's been some games where he is getting open, not getting the ball. So I would say, just from a productivity standpoint, I would say Austin Hooper, but I definitely don't think it's all his fault. It's more of the offensive scheme.
Okay. Well, let's go ahead and talk about this game, man. Let's get into the key components of the game. Now, Ryan, on offense, if you guys are going to win this game, what do you think that you guys got to do?
Oh, man, number one thing we got to do is win time of possession. Because to me, Kansas City, you guys, offense, top 5, got the best quarterback in the league. The best offense is an offense that can basically control the clock, limit possessions on the other team. So, by doing it, you got to run the football. You got to run the football effectively. You got to convert your third downs. Have winning plays on first and second down. So if you do get to a third down, it's not 3rd and 10. It's not 3rd and 8. It's more like 3rd and 3. Open up the playbook a little bit more. Have your options open to a point where you can convert third downs and sustain drives. To me, offense, you just got to figure out a way to get Henry involved. Not only just running the ball, also catching the ball. I've been saying that for the last month. If you get Henry involved in the passing game, defenses are not expecting that. So that's another element that you can add to your offense to be successful. So I would say, on offense, control the ball. Do not turn the football over and get Kansas City extra possessions, or you can get burned. It's gonna be a long Sunday night if you committing turnovers and not moving the ball downfield and controlling that clock.
Go ahead, Clarence.
Key components for us to be successful in this game. It's got to start with the tackles. Mike Vrabel does a great job with he could be down key guys and still put a disciplined team on the field. And defensively, you talking about Jeffrey Simmons, you talking about Bud Dupree, Danico Autry. On the next level, you got David Long Jr., you got Zach Cunningham. So that pressure is going to come from places that we not expecting. And when they just line up and go mano a mano, like Orlando Brown going to have to do a damn good job. Andrew Wiley going to have to do a damn good job to be able to allow us to exploit what the only weakness on that defense I see is at the cornerback position with the lack of experience from the guys outside of a Christian Fulton and Kevin Byard. You know what I'm saying? We got to get that time to let Pat go through his reads and make the right throw. Yeah. And if we can stop that pressure, I think we'll be able to score a lot of points. But it's stopping that pressure.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely got to, stop the pressure. We got to get the running game going. Convert on third downs, get short yardage plays, 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3, a lot of those plays, and test these corners. Test these corners with Juju, test these corners with MVS and Miko, and definitely Travis Kelce, test these linebackers with Travis Kelce, man. I mean, the offense runs through Travis Kelce. There's not fool ourselves. He's going to be the main he's going to be the main component of our offense. And the matchup, of course, Kevin Byard versus Travis Kelce. That's going to be a big matchup. So he's going to have to get open, and it's going to be a big matchup coming into this game. So definitely on offense, converting on third down, getting successful, getting 4 yards a clip on the run, try to get more elongated, plays, 12, 15 plays, drives, things of that nature. So definitely that's what we got to do.
Yeah.
Now on defense,
and everybody watching and listening, my bad, Chris. Let me just say one thing. Everybody that's watching and listening, if y'all don't know who the Titans are, y'all need to go and watch them, because I'm telling you right now, Zach Cunningham and Long are fast, and they get from point A to point B in the blink of an eye. So like Chris said, being able to get 4 yards on the ground, that is huge this week against them. Mm-hmm. Don't fool yourself in thinking that the Titans can't play defense.
Screen games gonna be definitely a need in this game too. Definitely a screen name. 12 personnel. I would even say to help out these tackles like we did against the 49ers. They did a lot of 12 personnel guys, tight, the tight ends on the edge, helping out these tackles, chipping with the running back. We're going to have to do a lot of that. We're going to have to do a lot of that to keep that pocket clean for Patrick Mahomes. So now on defense, Ryan, what would you say will be the key components for you guys to win this game?
Got to find a way to get after Patrick Mahomes. That's the biggest thing. I do think we got the defensive line to do it with Simmons and Bud Dupree and Danico Autry, Rashad Weaver if he plays. So we definitely have the horses to get after Patrick Mahomes. It's just all about getting to him. Because, if he's standing in the pocket and he's running around, he's looking for a receiver, for 3 to 4 or more seconds, he's going to find a receiver. He's going to find somebody open. Also with the linebackers too, Travis Kelce, as you mentioned, Kevin Byard's going to be, checking him. Also too, David Long is also going to be checking him some as well. So it's going to be a team effort to try to stop Travis Kelce. Maybe seeing some Monty Hooker. He usually plays the slot at times on certain defensive schemes. So it's definitely going to be that. And then also another key component will probably be stopping them on third down. Titans are the number 1 defense in the National Football League on third down. So they know how to get, offenses off the field on third down. So if they can continue to do that against this offense, they have a punch of chance. And of course, it doesn't hurt to try to get a turnover or two. If you can get a turnover or two, that'll definitely put the offense in a good position.
Go ahead, Clarence.
Defensively for us, obviously, trying to slow down King. But
Mm-hmm.
I think it kind of falls on our offense too, because if we can score enough points quickly, it puts Ryan Tannehill in a situation where he has to throw them back in the football game.
Mm-hmm.
And that allows for we'll be without Frank, but that allows for Chris Jones to step up and get pressure, pressure from the inside to funnel it outside to allow for the rookie to get some sacks, Carlos Dunlap. But we want to be able to put them in a position where Tannehill has to throw them back in this game with the lack of experience that they have on the perimeter at wide receiver,
Yeah.
and don't let Austin Hooper have a coming out game. You know what I'm saying? He's still capable of doing it. Don't allow it this week.
Well, yeah, that's where our safeties will have to come. Juan Thornhill and Reed, they're definitely going to have to be on point when it comes to Austin Hooper. Of course, our linebackers are going to have to be on point with Willie Gay, Nick Bolton. They're going to have to be ready to come to hit. And they got to come and wrap up. Tackling is going to be essential in this game. If we don't wrap up, Derrick Henry is going to have a field day on us. He's going to run all over us. If we just trying to do shoulder tackles and stuff like that, that ain't going to work. We got to wrap up and take them down. And it's got a lot of game tackling if we have to.
A lot of it.
Lot of game tackling. And they're gonna test these corners. I know on the perimeter the receivers ain't flashy, but they're still gonna test them. They're young corners. Jalen Watson is a young corner. Joshua Williams is a young corner. Even Trent McDuffie, he's coming back from an injury. He's a young corner. They're gonna test these corners and see if they can hold up against their wide receivers, and they're going to be crucial in this game. So I wouldn't be surprised if Vrabel says, you know what, let's attack these corners and see what they made of. So they're going to have to stand up. Their secondary is going to have to stand up for sure.
Absolutely.
All right, Ryan. Now, what is a key matchup that you're looking for in this game?
Key matchup I'm looking for is I'm looking at the trenches. Honestly, the Titans defensive line against Kansas City's offensive line. And I feel like whoever wins that matchup, I feel like is going to win this game. I think Kansas City is going to focus a lot on stopping Henry. I don't think Henry is going to get that level of success against Kansas City's defense like he did against Houston, because I feel like you guys are a little bit more well coached than Lovie Smith's crew. So I feel like it's going to be a situation where Henry, he might have a good game, but he ain't going to have that kind of game to where he's single-handedly impacting the game. So I feel like to me it's about the trenches. It's about Jeffrey Simmons. It's about Danico Autry, Bud Dupree, Rashad Weaver against the Kansas City offensive line. If they can get after Patrick Mahomes and keep the game kind of ugly, I feel like the Titans will have a chance. Now, if it turns into a shootout, Titans are not winning the shootout. They can't even score. They barely can score 20 points. But I know they're not going to win a shootout. So they got to keep that game ugly, and it starts with that defensive line.
Go ahead, Clarence.
Key matchups for me, I would have to say number one would be that line of scrimmage, but also, as we've seen from one week to another, it's been Juju, it's been MVS. Which guy comes in, makes the plays, if not both of them, to allow Travis to do what he does best underneath. So those would be my two keys in this game this week.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. These wide receivers, building on what they build on against the 49ers. Definitely want to see if Juju, MVS can build on the success that they had. They look good against the 49ers. Now let's see if we can roll it over to the next game against these young corners. We got to test them and we got to see if they can, hold up against these wide receivers, So and also Mecole Hardman, using him on those jet sweeps. get him, getting involved in the running game. He's going to definitely be a key component against that pass rush. That's some of the stuff that they did against the 49ers was they didn't even bother blocking Bosa. They was just like, we're going to run past him. So it was a lot of times he took himself out of the game because he was so busy trying to headhunt. He would run past Miko, and Miko was running past him into the end zone. So we need to see more of those jet sweeps, a lot of those jet sweeps, and get Sky Moore in some of those jet sweeps too. Sky Moore, maybe even Tony, Kadarius Tony, maybe he plays this game and we can get him in on some plays too, on some screens, and use his speed to try to catch them off guard. So that's one. Those are my key components too. And also on defense, linebackers tackling Derrick Henry.
Absolutely.
Nick Bolton and Willie Gay gotta have their best games of their lives, man. And Willie Gay can't be running too fast that he run past over pursuit. Sometimes he get too hyper and he run right past the dude. He right there for the tackle. Run right past.
Gone, dog. Gone.
He got to calm down a little bit. So that's definitely a key. All right.
Yes,
so let's go ahead and give this a score prediction. Go ahead, Ryan. Give us a score prediction. What you looking at?
All right. Now, Clarence knows this, man. I keep it real. I keep it 100 all the time. I'm not gonna say if I feel like the Titans can be the team, I'm gonna say the Titans can be a team. To me, I think the Titans, they got a 5-game winning streak. And the Titans have had success against the Kansas City Chiefs, but it's been in Nissan Stadium, though. The Nissan Stadium. We're in Arrowhead now. I'm gonna be honest. I think the Titans will make it competitive, but I think they will lose this game. I think it will be a score. I'm going to go with the score of 35-24. I think Kansas City's offense is going to be a little bit too much for the defense simply because the offense of the Titans are not sustaining drives and putting too much pressure on the defense to hold Patrick Mahomes in that offense. So I'm going to go with Kansas City winning this particular game, 35-24.
Wow.
Go ahead, Clarence.
I was teetering on this score earlier because at one point I had it 28-17, and then I got to 35-21. So I'm gonna go 33-24. That'd be my score. 36-24.
I'm gonna go 31-21. I think we get like a decent lead, and we kind of just sustain that lead. Later in your game, Titans make it a little interesting, but then we finally just kind of break it away in the fourth quarter and do what we're supposed to do, and I think we win 31-21. So, all right, Ryan, man. Look, appreciate you coming on, man. Talking ball with us, man. Come on anytime, man.
Yes, sir.
We'll have a round table one time and bring you on just to talk about stuff league wide.
Sure.
But yeah, appreciate you coming through, man. Let the best team win on Sunday, and good luck the rest of the season. Hope we see y'all in the playoffs again. We can talk about the game in the playoffs, man.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate the invite, man. Absolutely, man. If you guys ever need me on just to chat it up about the NFL, y'all team, my team, whoever, my door is open. So absolutely, definitely can reach out to me.
And go ahead and
tell the people when the JumpPass on.
Yeah. So you can follow me, of course, at Ryan Harris 662 on Twitter. You can also follow the JumpPass at the JumpPass TN. Episodes on the JumpPass are out on every Thursday. We talk about the Titans, talk about, sometimes I talk about the NFL. Might have a rant here and there talking about a certain thing I saw in the NFL. But most of the time it's going to be talking about the Titans. So it's also on all streaming platforms, man. Every platform that got a podcast, you're gonna see the JumpPass. So, give me a listen. Even if you're not a Titans fan, give me a listen.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, man. Go on,
Yeah.
give Ryan, give the jump
Y'all,
pass a listen,
y'all gotta check
follow
him
him
out,
up.
especially when they get hot, boy.
Yeah, give him a follow on Twitter. You know, all the social media platforms, and give him a follow and a subscribe. All right, Ryan, man. Thanks for coming through, bro.
Appreciate it. Thank y'all so much.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get up with you, man.
All right.
All right, man. How you feeling, Clarence?
Yeah, dog.
You feeling good about this game
I
on
mean,
Sunday?
yeah. I mean, I feel better about this one than I did about that Niners. You know what I'm saying? Like they defense, they really disciplined, dog. But I just think we
Yeah.
got more weapons offensively to score more,
Mm-hmm.
and they're not gonna be able to keep up. You know what I'm saying? Like for them for Derek to go off and to have the production that he had Sunday, and them not to be able to score enough points to blow them out, like that's the problem.
Definitely the Chiefs are gonna have to come in here with energy, man. They got to come in here with energy and come out here ready to play. You gotta start fast. Can't be slow footing around, because if you do, you're gonna look down. It's gonna be 14-0. Now, we still don't panic when it's 14-0, because the Chiefs just have a uncanny ability to come back in game.
Right.
But you don't want to be in that. You don't want to be in that position all the time in every game. I want to see the Chiefs come out and
dog.
ready to go from the gun. Once the kickoff goes, we starting on defense. Defense has got energy. We on offense, patting them, driving down the field with energy. We
Yep.
gotta have energy,
Yep.
and there should be no
Yep.
reason after this bye week these dudes don't have no energy. It's Sunday night football in Arrowhead.
Yeah.
The crowd's gonna be crazy. Everybody's happy that Chiefs football is back. We went a week without football. There should be no reason why this team doesn't have energy.
And I don't see them coming out flat because of Pat is always petty, and what happened last year in Nashville. So like this is a get back. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the build up all year has been a revenge tour. You know what I'm saying? So the Titans are part of that revenge tour. That 27-3 is still there. They ain't forgot that. You know what I'm saying? And we get them in Arrowhead this time. It's not in Nashville. I think aside from that playoff game, what has it been the last two or three times that they played in the regular season? It's been in Nashville. Go back to the Super Bowl year. It was in Nashville. Last year was in Nashville. So, this is a totally different team.
It's always been some fluke, I ain't trying to, no disrespect.
Yeah, I know.
It's always been some like fluky stuff when it comes to playing the Titans, man.
No, all the time, bro.
I mean, I'm even going back to when the Ryan Suckup game where he kicked a game-winning field goal, and Andy Reid calls a timeout to ice the kicker, and he missed it. He missed it. If Andy Reid doesn't call timeout, we win the game. But he called timeout, miss it, gave him another chance to kick the football, and it's like, And I got a homeboy. Shout out to my boy Jamal, man. He a Titans fan. He always texting me, tighten up. I don't want to hear
tighten
that.
Up.
I don't want to hear that.
That's that thing. Tighten up.
I don't want to hear
Derrick
that.
Henry got the Angry Runs Award last week too. So they feeling themselves from Nashville. You know what I'm saying?
They're 5-2.
It's gonna be a good game.
They're 5-2.
Dog.
They're ahead of us. They're ahead of us on the standings too. They're the number. They're number 2 right now. The playoffs will start today. They would be the number 2 seed. So
and then I think they started 0-2 because that first game was against the Giants, and then I think they turned around and went to Buffalo that second week. Yes, that's right. So they rattled off 5 straight, man. Which is that ain't no easy task, dog. You know what I'm saying? You still, I mean, you can say the Colts is a bad team, okay, and the Texans are a bad team, okay, but you got to play the teams that are in front of you. You know what I'm saying? So you got to get them dubs. You know what I'm saying?
Other than Buffalo and maybe the 49ers, I mean, we've been playing a lot of. You can say we play some bad teams too. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, they always raise their level when they play in the Chiefs, though. You know what I'm saying? I mean, everybody raise their level of play.
Yeah, of course. And I don't expect no different on Sunday.
Right.
I don't expect no different on Sunday.
Nope.
So they're not gonna give us this game. So we can't. The Chiefs can't just show up and say, hey, we're gonna show up at Sunday night in Arrowhead. We're gonna win. No, they got to come ready to play.
Yeah, not with Mike Vrabel being their damn coach. If that's what you thought, you can cancel Christmas because they coming to kick our ass in Arrowhead. That's what they want to do.
Most definitely.
That's what Vrabel was telling them. We coming in there, we gonna get this dub, and we gonna play our style of football, and we gonna bully ball them, and we gonna beat them in Arrowhead. That's the mindset. That's what he's selling them.
Yeah,
you see it in the way that they play week in and week out. You know what I'm saying? They want to bully people. That's what they try to do.
Do you think Tony plays any snaps this game?
Maybe a handful. I don't think he plays that much. You know what I'm saying? I think they probably work him in on a play or two just to get his feet wet and give him a very simple task of run off this linebacker, or you know what I'm saying, run this route. You know what I mean? But I don't think he get put into the offense all the way for another 2-3 weeks, maybe 4. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree. Probably see him maybe back there in punt return. Maybe
punts, yeah.
Maybe see him back there on that. See him get his feet wet on that. Like I said, I've always thought that the move it's a good thing for Sky. He don't have to concentrate on punt returns no more, man. He don't have to worry about worry about any of that. He could just go in there and worry about working on his offensive routes, learning his offense, man. He don't have to do something that he's never done before. So
right.
So and maybe next year he can try it again. You never know, So. So, but yeah, man, I'm excited for the game on Sunday, man. I'm gonna go down to the little Chiefs bar,
there you go. Spill that vodka everywhere.
Get with the other Chiefs fans, you know what I'm saying, and cheer on the Chiefs. So definitely. If we don't have a post game Sunday night, we'll do it Monday.
That's what's up. I'm with it.
We'll do it Monday.
Say less. Say less.
All right, Clarence, man, let's go ahead and land this thing, brother. You got anything else?
Nah, we good, man. Appreciate everybody for coming out yesterday on the space. We had a great time. Thank y'all for continuing to rock with us, man. We here for y'all, dog.
Yeah, man. We're gonna definitely do them spaces again. We're gonna try to do them spaces again. It was a good turnout. It
was.
If you're a first-time listener of the Arrowhead Chief podcast and you just want to listen to the audio, whether you're working out, you're driving, you're at work, whatever you're doing, you just want to listen to the audio, you can find the Arrowhead Chief podcast on all streaming platforms, whether it be Apple, Google, Stitcher, Spotify, Breaker, wherever you listen to your podcast at and you stream it at, Arrowhead Chief podcast is on there. And if you want to follow us on social media, you see that up there, that @HChief podcast. Go ahead, type that in. Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on TikTok. Follow us on Facebook. And we will follow you back. We'll definitely follow you back because our motto is what, Clarence?
We're in Hollywood. I told y'all we work at the car wash.
I don't work at no car wash, but I get you, brother. We not Hollywood over here. We fans just like y'all. We just want to commute with y'all and talk Chiefs with y'all. If y'all got any feedback, y'all got anything, critiques or anything, we here to listen. Just talk to us nice. Don't be rude. Don't be rude.
Right. Talk to us normal, man. Talk to us normal, dog.
But we're here for feedback and critiques so we can give y'all the best Chiefs content we can bring y'all. So all right, Clarence, man. Till next time, man. Either Sunday night or Monday. You know what I'm saying? We'll talk about the game and get into it, man. All right,
Hey,
brother.
be careful out there at that bar, boy. You know how
I'm be good. I'm be good. I'm be good.
I'm be good. I'm be good.
I'm good.
Yeah, I'm gonna check on him, y'all. I'm gonna check on him. Don't worry about it. I'm gonna check on him. All right, man. I'm gonna get up with you.
All right, bro.
Y'all be easy.